So, for those of you who don't know Prashantt Gupta is an actor from New York. So he's one of us. He has moved to Mumbai to pursue his acting dream, and I think he's done well for himself. I just saw him not 2 weeks ago. I think last week, while he was hosting the FOFA Awards for FTC Talent, and that was a pleasant surprise because to see somebody and this person knows you as well, and you're from the same fraternity, which is the New York and New Jersey and the US South Asian artist fraternity. It's a great feeling. So I want to start off by asking Prashantt to tell us something about your journey from your eyes.
I would hope so. The term, arrived. It constantly moves further and further away, because if I look back to the time I came to Mumbai, and if I thought of having achieved whatever it is I have today, I would have thought that that is the equivalent of having arrived. But having achieved everything I have today, I still don't feel like it's that arrival kind of feeling, And I'm thinking in my head that if I go 5 steps further, and call it having arrived, it might keep pushing away. So the whole concept of having arrived could be an illusion. Hear somebody say that, yes, I can finally say that I've arrived. We wouldn't know what it really feels like, because there's no barometer of it, a Filmfare Award, or 2 hit films, or 500,000 followers on Instagram. These are all subjective to what it makes you feel. But coming from the New York and US perspective, if I have to look back, when I came to Bombay, it was a very different Bombay. And not like I came here 20 years ago, but I came here slightly over a decade ago. And nepotism hadn't really kicked in. The quintessential Bollywood hero was still somebody who had good looks and a six-pack and hair, everything that I came with, because growing up in New York, things that I have that I think would be very valued and cherished in Mumbai, along with the fact that I speak beautiful Hindi, along with an American background of acting and all of the things that I thought I had in my pocket would be working for me, didn't really add up to anything out here, because they had their own agenda of what they want. But it just seemed like destiny had a few years of hardcore struggle written for me, because of some karmic debt that had to be paid off, or for me to just learn lessons maybe someday so I can write a book or share my story. Looking back, I feel kind of grateful for the fact that I didn't have it easy, but I also resent the fact that it took as long as it did. It does hurt, because it's caused me a lot of pain. It's caused my family a lot of pain. It hasn't been the, oh, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. Oh, okay, I'll try again next year. It's been gruesome. It's been brutal. I know we hear this a lot. Will Smith says it, and many other people says it, that if you have a plan B, it'll take your attention away from plan A. But I have now started to disagree with that. And I feel that some of the top stars in the industry all have a plan B in place. They had it when they came, or they made it after coming, and still realized that this show business journey isn't going to last forever. If you take away all of Shah Rukh Khan's businesses, then his acting revenue alone is about 15 to 20% of his personal worth. Okay. And he's given around 6 flops in the last whatever amount of years. I mean, he has created an empire. He's truly a bacha. That's all different. But the truth is, whether it's assets and property, or a stake in some businesses, or any other stream of revenue, it's important because it keeps you sane. And I would say depend on it only for the purpose of sanity and not for the purpose of vanity. Also, don't come to Bombay if acting isn't a do or die situation for you. Do not come to try for a year. Do not come to try for 2 years and waste a year or 2 years. Come because you cannot live without acting. But you've also created an additional means of revenue only for the sake of a roof, some food, and some decent clothes. Here I am, Harbinder knows, a Long Island boy from Manhasset. Uh, I live on Shelter Rock Road. I live in one of the most expensive towns of America. And I came to Bombay, and it was crazy. It had very emotionally deep effects on my whole psyche of have I really done this? I mean, do I want it this bad? But I tell you one thing, never in my 10, 12 years of Bombay did I ever say, okay, I'm done. I'm going back. Never. I have only come to America to work, as in shoot, or to bring my wife and kids for a small summer vacation. Never did I go back to America once, even with my insomnias, breakdowns, depressions, attacks, whatever, and said, I'm done. I am not leaving this city unsuccessful. I'm going to stay in this city and succeed, and hopefully very soon plant another foot out in the West. Uh, but it's a do or die for me.
Wow, that's a very heartfelt story, and I don't know what to say. I'm speechless because you actually poured your heart out, and not too many people are able to do that. How beautifully you painted a picture. I didn't even have to like see anything. If I closed my eyes, I could pretty much see your struggle, how you must have struggled, and how you must have felt at that point. So, in any way, do you like, with the current happenings with Sushant Singh Rajput, do you relate to what happened with him? Do you think something like this happens on a regular basis in Bombay, or do you think it's just him? It just happened to him?
No, it happens on a regular basis. It's just that we wouldn't know of the cases because they're not Sushant Singh Rajput, you know. But the fact that it happened to Sushant has been one of the greatest eye openers for me. Sushant wasn't a friend, but I've met him. We've known each other very briefly. In fact, the day after he passed away, uh, I wrote a little essay about my experience with him and something about mental health. And in about 2 hours, I got a call from Hindustan Times, which is the leading newspaper out in America, out in India. There's the Times of India and the Hindustan Times. And the Hindustan Times called me, the editor, and said, "Can we print this story?" I said, "By all means, go ahead." I didn't intend for it to be published, but they said, "No, you have spoken your heart out, and I think your story is so important about mental health, and it pays a good tribute, and the way you wrote it." So that story kind of went all over the place. But I was in shock because, fair enough, I don't understand what it means to be isolated. I've been blessed to have a good family and the support of a few good friends. But from where I am, I would think that Sushant has it all. 10 million followers, 2 or 3 fancy cars, and a good amount of money in the bank account. Every single top banner, from Rajkumar Hirani to you name it, to all the top studios working with him. And he's a boy from the outside and not a great looking guy. I mean, I've known him personally, not a great looking guy and not the most phenomenal talent. Mind you, posthumously, the industry and the media has a habit of glorifying somebody's career, even though they probably wouldn't do that when they were alive. Like Irfan Khan was a great actor, but by no means a legend. Suddenly, post death, he's achieved legendary status. Having said that, a big illusion has been broken. That all the things you think are so good, the fancy cars, the followers, the top banners, and you can still be made to feel lonely or not wanted enough. And in his case, apparently there's a lot of news of of many of the top bigwigs having abandoned him or boycotted him the last 18 months to 2 years, which frankly I wasn't aware of. But the more we're hearing here, it all seems to be very true. On top of which, depression sometimes becomes a clinical disorder. And then it could be a mental neurotic imbalance, also depending on medicine. And I think it ultimately took the best of him. But it happens very, very commonly. And we just won't know of it because it's not a Sushant Singh Rajput that does it every day.
If there was one thing that you could change about this industry, what would that one thing be?
There, on a much higher level, first of all, our industry doesn't have a single decent, respectable award ceremony. You know, when I came to Bombay, winning a film fair was a dream. It'd be nice to get one today, but frankly, it no longer is a dream. Every single award of Bombay has been either boycotted by the respectable actors or proven gloriously, publicly, to be nothing but a sham. So unfortunately, it might even be too late because awards in India are run by the magazines. So it's like the equivalent of a variety or a Hollywood reporter having the award ceremonies, which is different from the Oscars and Golden Globes. I would change that. But other than that, I think my greatest lesson is how much can you change yourself? Going back, I wish I could change a few things about myself. There's no point even thinking about what I could change about the industry. Could it be more organized? Yes. Could the film studios like Fox or Sony or Yashraj or Dharma or all the top 10 companies of India, could they have people hired who actually come from a creative college background? Yes. A lot of these people are MBAs or just normal bachelor's degrees, degree holders who don't know the first thing about creativity. So if I hire somebody because they're available for a certain salary and can speak a certain amount of English, I'm doing injustice to the creative world and the world of motion pictures and entertainment unless I hire people. In America, all of this is taken a lot more seriously. So if the companies don't hire the right people who have the right education for the industry, it's going to eventually slap you right in the face. If the award ceremonies don't have any respect, nobody wants to win them. Um, but the industry needs to create an infrastructure of humility and mental well-being.
So basically, in your opinion, this nepotism thing, this pulling down the guy who's actually doing well based on his or her merit, those things should be changed. I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly because the way that I see it is all these star children and people with zero talent, they are able to, and as you said, as you rightly said about award ceremonies, I think the award ceremonies have been bastardized to such an extent that it's become a joke now. When I watch these award shows, most of these award shows, I'm not going to say all, I mean, because the one that we recently saw actually had genuine talent coming forward. Although what I found fault with that award ceremony was with the award competition was that established actors had also submitted to that competition. In my opinion, if you're going to promote a platform for new talent, I think you should try to sort of either put a divide in there that, okay, if you are an established actor and if you're going to submit your project or your film on this platform, then you may not qualify for the awards, right? From what I saw, again, and again, I mean, I don't mean to say anything derogatory about them, but most awards were actually won by people who are established actors. It's just like having a cooking show and inviting a bunch of well-renowned chefs to cook alongside amateur chefs. And that actually happened in 2012. I was a part of a cooking show, and there were 4 amateur chefs and there were 4 established chefs. And we lost hands down. We were butchered because obviously we didn't know how to devein a shrimp. I didn't know how to devein a shrimp, so I was cooking the shrimp without deveining it. And that was the end of the story. I was eliminated in the first round. So if you are going to do that, you're going to stack up people, then I think it's very, very unfair. And that observation, I think I give you 100 points on that observation because I couldn't agree with you more. Now, let me ask you this. If God came down and said, okay, Prashantt, tell me your one wish in terms of this career, what would your one wish be?
God came down and asked me for one wish in this industry. First of all, we have a lot of talking to do, and he's got a whole lot of explaining to do because I have some questions of my own. But I just ask him to keep this strong and this strong. Sonny, that's it. God grant me a mind so strong that the pain that hits it doesn't manifest into any pain in the body. So I want to be able to use that pain in my performances. But I don't want the pain to hurt me so bad where I lose my sanity. When your heart and your mind hurts a lot, deeply, and for extended periods of time, the pains show up in various parts of your body. It then starts dwindling your confidence of wait. Now, am I even good enough to make it? Because while I'm getting wiser and perhaps better as a performer, but I don't look the same as I used to. And it's not just normal getting older. It's, shit, look what life did to me getting older. So God grant me the serenity, the peace of mind, the strength, the strength of mind and heart that let it not hurt my body. Let it not break me to the point where it breaks my family.
I can sense a lot of pain, and I think you've seen some rough days. And, if it means anything, I'll just tell you this, that I think, with all these changes happening, cosmically, I think your time has probably come and it's going to turn around. You will probably have to be stronger and hang out a little bit longer and be strong, because if you hang out and you are stronger, and and I think, in some ways what I'm trying to tell you is, I feel, terrible about Sushant, because I think he was almost at the peak. It's like the image that you keep seeing, that this guy is pushing a boulder to the top of the hill, and he doesn't realize that he's at the top of the hill, and he just gives up, and that's the end of the story. So what I'm saying is, I think you have made a name for yourself. People recognize you. You're a recognizable face. Yes, shit happens. It happens to everybody. Shit happens to me too. Am I trying to pursue acting actively? No. I think I found my own strengths. I'm trying to do stuff where I excel. And I think you need to find your strength.